Welcome back. You know, growing up, all my friends have always been creative people. I find it easy to identify with them, and I find it very weird when people don't have a creative bone in their body. It's kind of freaky. Because to me, it's like what you need to live is creativity. You need to be able to make things and do things. And so anyways, that's my people. Growing up, that was my people. In college, I started a co-ed fraternity based entirely around creativity, and that's just what I'm into. This company's about creatives, this show, this channel is all about creatives. So, over the next few episodes of this show, I'm gonna showcase the creatives that make my life special and this company special. So if you live a similar life, if you're surrounded by wonderful creatives, if you have a local scene, or if you wish you did and you'd like to see what it's like, maybe you're considering moving to a more creative hub of a city, then you're going to enjoy what we document here. I'd like to start with a man who I met about 2-3 years ago. When I was managing Studio 18 here in Orlando, Florida, he came to us and my business partner at the time quickly identified him as potential managerial talent, organizational talent, but he's also a fire producer. He's nuts. He quickly bonded with the other producer in Studio 18, Ignacio, who you all have probably seen before. And very recently, we brought him on the Indepreneur team to join us as a support specialist. But he can be so much more than a support specialist. He's training on video editing and Facebook ads and marketing. He's learning at a quick pace. So we're gonna build him up and hopefully he'll be a staple of this company, which will provide him more opportunities to promote his own music as well. And I'm excited about all of it. I'd like to introduce you all to my friend, Kenny Kaminski, AKA KKAMI.
And you think my passion's on a picture, cash and cards, wishful thinking that's an afterthought. I ain't take the road you crafted for me, so you rip and tell me my path is wrong.
All I gotta say is they don't really care about us, and I just wanna live, yeah. We just wanna live, we just wanna live, yeah. Oh, no. We just wanna live, we just wanna live, yeah. We just wanna live, we just wanna live, yeah.
It's Thursday night, it's late. I just pressed render on Tiny Toots. I'm gonna start with a gentleman some of you may know.
The skin is off-white till it's purple. This is our life in a circle, running around pieces of love that we once knew. Never did enough, you was untrue. Now it's like you ain't even speaking my language. This ain't gotta be about anguish. Ain't this yet another very last convo?
What are you doing?
Me?
Yeah.
Mixing. See you soon.
SYS?
SYS.
Can I ask you some questions?
Sure.
What is SYS?
It is a group / collective of artists, producers, singers, songwriters, rappers.
Is this a rap? Is that
He's one of them,
he's
yeah.
one of the rappers,
He's
right?
one of them.
Okay. And
I am a producer, and I help with all the sonics that we want to get across.
you want to get across the Sonics.
Hell yeah.
When did you start producing?
I started producing when I was 19, so about 6 years ago. Because I heard dubstep, and it blew my mind.
Wait.
And what happened was my friend was like, my friend made this song. And I was like, your friend made this song? And it sounded like everything else that I've heard. And that was the poof moment when I realized, wow, you can actually just make music.
Right.
And it blew my mind.
Yeah.
And and I got Ableton, I think, either that night or the next day, and it was me and my friend just cooped up in our dorm room, and the rest is history. Really,
Nice.
I remember not even knowing how to put a note in.
Right.
I've been a drummer since I was 10.
Right.
So I was into really hard rock metal music, and then I listened to a lot of really hard trap music, and I guess it sort of just translated the same energy. And then dubstep came along, and it was just sort of another avenue.
Who did you look up to early on in
dubstep? I remember I typed in dubstep on YouTube. Just dubstep. This is like 2000.
Can you co-sign this?
This is like 2011.
I don't know this guy.
And I remember it was Dat Sick Nukem, and I was like, this is so dope. Yeah, that shit was crazy. And like Excision. I grew up in New Berlin, Wisconsin.
New Berlin, Wisconsin. Is there a lot of dubstep out there?
Not a lot of
Big dubstep scene?
Not a lot of dubstep going on out there. I moved here because I had family here who I was really close to, my cousin, and I was at a point in my life where sky was the limit. I could do whatever I want, and he had a place to move into, and I moved in with him. I didn't know Full Sail was here. I never worked at a studio. I sort of got down here, and I already did a lot of DJing up around the Midwest, and I produced music in a duo that I was in. We split, and I started doing my own thing, and that's when I sort of got more into the engineering side of things and more on the producing side of things. So I looked up studios in Orlando. I found a place called Studio 18 where
what is that?
This beautiful man right here was a part of. The website was just, it seemed really youthful. It seemed young and energetic, and
the website was tight?
Yeah, was that you?
Me too.
I roped in all you fools with my website.
I was like, it just didn't seem like a boring studio. It was all kids my age, so
yeah.
I went in for an internship, and yeah, I mean, changed the course of my life 100%. I think it was the first day I went into Studio 18. It was like Miles Davis's drummer was there, and I was like, this is crazy.
Right.
And yeah, just like over the course of the next few weeks, just random people would pop in, and I thought it was so cool.
It was a pretty hopping place.
It was. I love that the culture behind it. Iggy and Cup definitely helped that.
Who's that?
They are legends. My dear friends here in East Room Suites now. Both were at Studio 18 with us. And yeah, they've sort of curated my way into diving more and more into what is engineering. So I came from a producing background, and I just wanted to keep making my stuff better and better and better. And you have to sort of be the trick of all trades to get there. So
I'ma call you tomorrow. Guess that I'm scared of the truth. I couldn't bear it if I had to hurt, and I just couldn't share it with you. We planned for marriage, but now it's apparently through at this point. I'm like your long lost brother. We can't be loving, and we just ain't friends. So baby, why don't you tell me?
What are you doing?
I am logging into Indepreneur on Instagram to answer any questions. My new job is to sort of maintain anything on the website or any subscription help that people need. And I'm starting to sort of bleed into doing edits for podcasts or videos, things for Instagram, little videos, snippets, stuff like that. Get my hands sort of in the game a little bit of Indepreneur. I got a call from Kyle Circa Lemaire. He was like, hey man, I have a job opportunity for you. I was like, wow, do you really? He's like, yeah, I could use your assistance when it comes to support for a company, and I think you're the guy for it. I was like, why me? How'd you pick me? He said, you needed someone reliable. I like to think I am, and I've always wanted to learn more about digital marketing too, and what Indepreneur does is for a great cause, so it was a no-brainer. And here I am learning more and more every day, and I'm happy to be here. I met Circa at Studio 18 at the end of like 2015. I went there just to sort of see what was going on there. I was a producer, I was a new kid in town from Milwaukee. Didn't really know anybody in the city at all, so I just went there open-minded. Circa was sitting at the front desk, he managed the place. Yeah, and he sort of had this like big brother sort of vibe to him, where I like talking to him about music, he knew a lot. I like to pick his brain a lot, maybe annoy him sometimes, you know. Had to just poke him a little bit, you know. So I do remember one day walking into the studio and Circa was sleeping on the couch. I was like, wow, this place is a home. Like, this place really does have like people living all over it. He would pop off the couch and just work for 15 hours, and he lived on the couch, yeah. At least for that time being, fully clothed and everything. I was like, what is this guy about? I need to get to know this man a little bit more, because he was so smart, and just the current state that he was in, I was like, this man is interesting. What is going on here? He would pop off the couch, fully clothed, change, go work out like crazy in the yard. I was like, what is going on here? This is so crazy. Yeah, and I like to talk to him more and more, and I sort of got to get my foot into the managing game with him. I sort of assisted him and the owner of the studio, so it'd sort of be us three when it came to like meetings of what the studio wanted and all this stuff. And one day I just wanted to learn more about specifically copyright stuff, because I was a artist at the time and he clearly knew what was going on there and I didn't, and he gave me this lesson for like an hour. And for him to just even give me the time was really, really cool. So it always stuck out to me. Always like to keep in touch. I moved back to Wisconsin a little bit, about a year after that, and we kept in touch, and I moved back down here and here I am. Weird or alarming, I admired the fact that he could just leave a situation and not care about what anyone thought. He'd just leave the room in the middle of a conversation. I was like, you know what, I might have to start doing that a little bit more. Because I wouldn't take offense to it either. It was just you went and did your own thing. And I was like, hey, I want to do my own thing. I'd like to help the indies as much as possible. I love the cause. The people are great. Community is great. I'm an independent artist myself, so I have a lot to relate to. It's all the same goal here, all the same finish line of all of us making it. So that's number one. Number two, I'd love to learn everything digital marketing, everything video, you name it. So learning the courses myself is a big one. And just being around the people that we're affiliated with. Cup and Iggy are close friends of mine. Circa, of course, is a close friend of mine. So we're all working hard and towards the same thing. There's not a better place to be. Trying to think if I want to be an engineer or a producer, but definitely a producer. I did a lot of stage stuff back in the day, a lot of shows, and I really, really enjoy that. And I'd like to get back to that point where I could do tours. And I love making merch, so having a nice merch line would be a lot of fun, just having a lot of creative control over my brand. I have done a radio show in Milwaukee for a year. That was really cool. That was a cool learning experience. I hosted it for a couple months, so I at least had my voice on the radio. I really enjoy radio. I've written for Universal. I've written for plenty of artists here in Orlando and in Milwaukee. I've toured around the Midwest. I've done a big festival in Wisconsin called Somerset. We had like 3,000 people in front of us. That was very cool. And besides that, I get to help people who come in. I love to impress people with music and help them in any way I can.